Hello and welcome. It's a Saturday night, which means it's time to party, yo! But because we are of a certain vintage, we start our party at 6:30 in the evening so that you, the youth, can finish our party and then go for your real world parties in time. This is Cricbuzz Live, the greatest party in the world. With drinks, which are soothing for the throat. I'm having green tea. Mr. Ajay Jadeja, who's here with me, is having some ginger honey water.
It's green.
It's also green.
It's green juice.
It's healthy. And Mr. Joy Bhattacharya has no drink because he's reckless.
I have just finished my Darjeeling tea, so I'm good.
He's just,
Darjeeling, old chap.
I like this regional loyalty that you have. है ना कि अगर कलकत्ता से हैं तो फिर दार्जिलिंग से दूर नहीं जाएंगे. That's true. I, of course, like English breakfast. But today, it's all about land where you get very good tea. That's Sri Lanka. Sri Lankan tea. We love that. And today, let's see if they spill the tea or if India can make them smell the coffee. That was pretty clever.
Well done.
I thought just
well
right
done.
now,
You're working your way through it.
you saw me, right? And I came out of that maze. I did it. I think I should quit now.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You were a great audience. We'll see you next time. Well, so it's India, Sri Lanka, the third T20 international. This is the decider because India won the first, Sri Lanka won the second. And now in Rajkot की शानदार सड़क पर जहां अजय भाई ने बोला रोलर नहीं रोलर चलता है वहां पर हो रहा है तीसरा और आखिरी मैच, the decider. Now this is very interesting for India because India has not lost a T20I series at home since January of 2019. That was, Joy, that was against Australia.
That was
And India's won 11 series after that, right?
Absolutely.
I have learnt it and you're having to read it off your phone.
No, I am just thinking of something totally different.
What? Were you checking Facebook?
No, I was just trying to remember. Today is also a man who a former cricketer's birthday who we remember very fondly. That's the great Irfan Khan, the actor. And he also started off as an under-19 cricketer from Tonk.
Yes.
And he just didn't make it and then decided that, this thing. So I was just remembering, was it his birthday today or not?
It is his birthday today. And I have to tell you, everybody, I don't know a single person who's not an Irfan Khan fan because just that was the kind of acting force that he was. But the big cricket fan that he is, I went to Lord's to watch South Africa and England. Why? Don't ask me. I just like Test cricket. So I went to Lord's to watch one session. I come out and I bump into Irfan Bhai with his son, somebody else with him. And he looks at me and he says, "Arey, are you doing commentary on this match?" I said, "No, this is South Africa, England, I have nothing to do here." I said, "What are you doing here?" Right? He's like, "Yaar, bahut acha lagta hai, Test cricket." That's how big a fan he was, that on his holiday, on a day off, he's come to Lord's to watch South Africa and England.
But that's what, if you love the game, it's the game wherever it's being played, different countries play differently. Actually, the experience is to go to that ground. Lord's is an experience to go and watch a game. It's totally different. But don't worry. At Rajkot, we've got a replica of Lord's.
That's right.
When you watch the game today, you'll see it. You'll see that new media box, exactly the same.
Yeah.
At times, Rajkot looks like it's Lord's. And, nahi?
Naughty
ho gaya. Maafi.
But it was naughty because they have basically just picked it up and it's a cut copy paste that has been put over there.
Yeah,
it is a cut copy. Let's call a spade a spade. It's a cut copy paste.
Yeah, I don't know whether they paid for the rights of it or not. I'm not too sure.
Photoshop का lower version था.
Sir, मैं बस एक बात कह रहा हूँ, जोधा, we should talk about it. ये उनका इलाका है.
Exactly. You need to go back.
It's your area.
Visa cancel हो जाएगा.
इनका mic mute कर दो. ठीक है? इनका mic mute कर दो, sir. It's his land. But today.
No, not my land. No. It's the land of Ranji and Dilip.
That is true, actually, which effectively makes it by lineage your land as well. All right, well, there you go. It's a great opportunity for Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka is going to look at this. And here's the thing, Joy. I think there's this narrative that Sri Lanka is a team that doesn't make a big impact. It's not the same force that it used to be. They just won the Asia Cup, right? They have scored 200 plus in the previous game, and they have won 16 runs is a decent enough margin against India. These are no spring chickens.
No, not only just not spring chickens. When is the last time they won the Asia Cup in 2022? When is the last time India has won a multilateral tournament?
Asia Cup.
2018.
Yeah, 5 years almost.
So they've won 4 years after us. They've won So we have not won a multilateral tournament for 5 years. So when we are talking about this, this bilateral record is fantastic. But clearly, whatever we are doing, we are not managing to make it count on the big ones.
Okay.
Take a look at that.
Yep. There you go. Bilateral series since Jan 2020. They are not bad, right? Sri Lanka. Oh, no, one second. Hang on. I read the wrong column. We are not bad. They are not good. But they have been good once. And that has been against India. Can they double that today?
Oh, I mean, they can. I mean, not that they can't, but I mean, I don't see that happening. I still feel, we are a better side. I mean, we've lost the last game when we almost lost the first one. But we've probably had the worst games that you can think of. I mean, look at the start that we had in that first game.
Yeah.
Look at the start that we got in the second game. So I'm expecting India to be, and I expect them to be much better. So they can come out and win. And those numbers, is a proof that when you look at numbers, what can happen. So Sri Lanka gets beaten by everybody in the world. We beat everyone else in the world, but we get beaten by them. So sometimes it can happen. You could lose to somebody. So like that, if they win, it's a possibility. But I still feel we are a better side, especially when the total goes higher.
Yeah.
200 the other day that Sri Lanka scored is after many, many years. It's not regularly they score. They won that Asia Cup. We didn't do well. And I think there is a correlation there. And I don't know whether numbers will show it. That when it's a low total, Sri Lanka is very good because they all score 25-30, 25-30. And strike rates are brilliant and they just go out there and start whacking. Whereas when we score bigger scores. I mean, our batsmen have better days. They get bigger scores. So when it's a bigger score game, India is a much better side.
True.
But when it's a shorter game, because we don't play pure bowlers at times, so then in a shortened game, that 10-15 run difference, and that is how they won that Asia Cup.
Yeah.
That in that entire Asia Cup, there wasn't a 180, 200 total game at all.
Great point.
They were all 150, 160, 170. I mean, which is relatively low totals in these days. That's where they come in and, they can compete and probably beat you.
They are scrappier for sure. Enjoy, I think and we've got a stat with that as well in terms of the number of 50s that India hits and Sri Lanka hits. Sri Lanka, as from what Ajay is saying, Sri Lanka's batting business model is my favorite, kaddu katega sab mein batega. Right?
Absolutely.
When they win, everybody kind of chips in a little bit.
Yeah, 25-30s, 35-40s, Shanaka finishes a lot. Sri Lanka, and see, I'll tell you one more thing. It's an interesting thing having a small talent pool.
Yeah.
Their talent pool, essentially, they're 17, 18, 20 players who they feel are at that level.
Yeah.
India, you think there are about 30, 35 players at that level.
No, 50.
Yeah, take a pick, but that's the problem with the selectors. So they don't know who to, and somebody will come and say, why is that guy not been given a chance? He's good enough. Here they have to persist. So Sri Lanka is a fantastic batsman, but he's done nothing. Yeah. They persist with him. Yeah. He comes, he gets his 36, 37 of 19 balls, changes the game, goes away. Yeah. So sometimes, because you know that this is your limited resource, you use that resource better.
Good.
I think in India, in many things, especially in T20 matches, India's problem is a problem of plenty, not 20 or plenty. Then there's one more problem that we have, and that is that given the circumstances that we are in this year, we are in a situation where we are playing a 50-over World Cup. But T20 is a format that everybody actually sees.
Yeah.
So now we don't know who to select for. I mean, our selection, therefore, of course, now we finally got a selection committee, so we'll figure out what they plan.
Yay! And by the way, the process of this new selection committee, I would like to show you as a graphic representation of this is. वो कहते हैं ना hashtag if you know you know. Hashtag समझदार को इशारा ही काफी है. घूम फिर के we're back. But you're right. There is a problem of plenty. Sri Lanka does again, one of my favorite words. They optimize. Limited talent pool, but they happen to optimize it. India has a problem of plenty. There are just so many people around. And again, whoever you select, you're always as fans looking at the 5 who've not been selected in that position. And you go, oh, maybe that one. And the selectors, the management, the top management, they are human as well. I'm sure they think the same as well, right? A little bit of FOMO can come. You play two players, let's say you play 2 openers, there are 6 openers knocking the door. And you think, ooh, am I giving this person too many chances? Have I given enough chances? There are 2 people breaking the door. Somebody got 100 yesterday in Mushtaq Ali. It's just, it is a problem.
It is, and that's why they always say the selectors probably whether a selector or a coach, those are thankless jobs because everything that goes right is with players and everything that goes wrong comes here. The only question, I mean, I'm with you on the whole process, and it is tough for anyone. Had you been losing, I mean, the record that you showed a little earlier, you've lost one series out of 5 years, 2 years, 3 years in this case. But even if you go back, I mean, and this is since what? 2020.
Yeah.
So you've lost one series, but you're still not sure of who you want to play. That is not when you have a pool of plenty. Yes. Then as a selector, as a coach, as a captain, if you picked a player, I mean, you picked him. You and I don't send a player कि इसको आज खिलाना और इसको आज नहीं खिलाना. You have been picking these players, and you've been winning everything. Then why do you need to keep changing? The only reason it could be that you're not sure. You're not sure whether you should have X or a Y in your team.
Yeah.
You are hoping that, okay, चलो ये कर रहा है तो अब इसको खिला लो, वो कर रहा है तो वो खिला रहे. You're not backing your players, and that's what it shows me. Had you been losing, then I'm with you on that. That if you start this series, you win 3-0. Even if somebody has done badly, nobody is going to question. Even a big fan of an ex-player is not going to question why is this boy not in the team. Because you win 3-0.
Yeah.
But the problem is you don't win 3-0. You win 2-1 or 3-2. So you're neither going here, neither going there. For the last 3-4 years, we've been in this boat.
I think for T20 cricket, I think you're absolutely right. There's always this confusion about how you're going to play the format. What is the approach to the format?
But that shouldn't be there, no. Once you get a captain and a coach, you should know exactly how you want to play.
Yeah, true.
And also, see, we had a model for playing one-day international cricket, which was our top 3 scores mountains of runs, and then the rest of the team gets it together and puts it. That was our theory. What we tried to do is take that formula and replicate it in T20.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there you can't bat at 125, 130, which is what Shikhar gives you, or KL Rahul gives you, or even a Virat gives you. You cannot. You need somebody out there who's going to bat at 170, 180.
Yeah.
So you've tried to take a one-day theory, transplanted it to T20, and that's why you're not getting results. But the big problem is dropping these guys is very difficult, or telling these guys that you're no longer a part of selection is so very difficult.
Yeah.
It's so difficult. See, the problem was solved for Dhoni in 2007 because, Saurav, Rahul and
they sat out,
They sat out. But had they not sat out, had they travelled to South Africa in 2007, would you have sat them out? Can you sit players like that out?
Yeah, you're right. It is
tough.
It is very tough. But has India sat out anyone today? Has Sri Lanka sat out anyone today? Hardik won the toss and decided to bat first today. So he's also mixing things up. Batting first in Rajkot. Let's have a look at the team. Who has India gone with? Are there any changes? Well, no changes. India playing the same team. Shubman Gill and Ishan Kishan to open. Then Surya Kumar Yadav, Rahul Tripathi, Hardik Pandya, Deepak Hooda, Akshar Patel, Shivam Mavi, Arshdeep Singh, Chahal and Umran. That's the India 11. Let's have a quick look at the Sri Lanka 11 and then we can discuss both the teams. Has Sri Lanka made any changes? Well, Singular made the one change. No Bhanuka Rajapaksa. Interesting. Avishka Fernando. Do we have any news? Is Rajapaksa injured? Or have they just not? No news of any injury, which means they are sitting him out. Okay, Nisanka and Mendes, who was great in the previous game. And Dhananjay De Silva, Asalanka was good as well. Shanaka, the captain, that was a brilliant 50 of 20, which is the best that Sri Lanka has got a record for them, the 20-ball 50. Avishka Fernando, will be interesting to see him there. And then, of course, that bowling unit. Quick reaction on the...
No, I think it was coming. I mean, they tried him, they gave him opportunities, they promoted him up the order, they gave him everything. And they said if it's not working... And remember, Fernando's had a very good Lanka Premier League.
Okay.
He's had a fantastic Lanka Premier League tournament. So, I mean, there is a good enough reason to play him.
But I'm just saying, Rajapaksa, has he been given as many chances as Asalanka has been given?
You referring to the PM or the
The player, Asa.
Naughty.
Well played.
Naughty.
I mean, listen, one, we don't follow them as much as we follow the Indian team, so I won't be, precise on that. But one of the reasons it could be, there's when Rajapaksa plays, he plays brilliantly. We've seen that he gets those scores. The other day, when he was sent up the order against pace, if there is a question mark, I think it's probably against pace. And now that they've realized, because they play differently from us, they look at the opposition, they look at conditions, and they keep changing. So in the middle, India suddenly, say 3 years ago, if you were playing against India, you would want to put in batsmen who play Chahal and Kuldeep well, because that was the middle phase. Now oppositions, whoever, because I'm sure they also think it's not just one team. So they're looking at, who's the guy who can come this raw pace that Umran Malik is providing.
Yeah.
So that could be the reason why they probably left him out.
Good call.
Fair enough.
It could be a tactical one. Otherwise, I think the PM's got more chances than him.
Not just naughty, very naughty. Let's discuss what Hardik has done with the team. It's very interesting, Joy, what he said, that he wants to give challenges. This is great. I mean, you can't get a bigger challenge than this, right? You've got a series decider. It is a series which you have not dominated. It is 1-all. But India would want to today, Hardik would want to, the team would want to kind of stamp their dominance over it, not just win, but kind of win in style, not be scrappy, but win in style.
Yeah, and see, I think what India is missing right now is, if you see the Sri Lankans, they are very clearly Hasaranga and they have go-to bowlers. Thikshana are go-to bowlers.
Yeah.
They are the go-to bowlers in the middle. They're going to give you something. India doesn't have that one bowler. Without Bumrah in the attack, you don't have that one guy who you say that this is there. Umran Malik is an interesting option, but he's not a match-winning option every 7 times out of 10.
Also new, inexperienced.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the thing. So India has to sort of put on that total with their batting. So this is not a team that will dominate with the ball. So they need to put up a big total, and I think that's one of the reasons that they probably want to bat first.
I think it's very interesting what you say, and I'm just going to jump to the bowling, because you spoke about Hasaranga and Thikshana. You're talking about spin doing wonders for Sri Lanka in the middle, and you spoke about Kulcha and the period of dominance for them, which was a few years back. India in the last year or so is not getting that from spin, right? When you look at what the spinners have done, and mainly it's been Ashwin, Chahal, Akshar, who've got the bulk of the chances. And there you go, Indian spinners. Oh God, this is...
Since 2020.
Yeah. I'd read a different graphic. They changed it on me. But this one...
That's the one you know.
That's the one I know.
Yeah.
And Huda got 4 of those 5 in front of us in a game, didn't he?
Yeah.
In New Zealand. But let's not look at that, because that's very little bowling there. But you want Akshar, Chahal, Ashwin. Opposition has kind of figured them out, right? So they will also... A guy like Chahal, who's a chess player, will take this up as a challenge. And he should take it up as a challenge. We know the kind of competitor he is. He should. He's like, I'm better than a wicket a match or just less.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, especially in the last game. From the first game, there's a marked difference in the kind of bowling and the effort that you saw. But that list actually tells you the answer. If you look at all of them, whether it's Akshar, whether it's Chahal, whether it's Ashwin, they all are 1+ wicket, one little in numbers. There's not much difference. Plus, what has happened is the sample size is totally, small. All 8 games that Ashwin has got, he got 5 in that World Cup and 3 just before that World Cup. Before that, it was somebody else playing. Before that, it's not that they're all playing together.
Yeah.
If they all play together, and like you said, Kulcha or Hasaranga and Thikshana, they may be both spinners. But for a batsman, when you play Thikshana, you need to have different shots to get runs versus when you play against Hasaranga.
Yeah.
So when you have 2 of a different kind, it is easier for the captain to rotate them around or change them and get their effectiveness much more and optimize your favorite word, optimize their resources.
Yeah.
In this case, I think what we are saying is whoever's played more games has more wickets. Akshar's played 15, he's got 14. Somebody's played 11, he's got 8. So there's not much here to pick from. And unfortunately, I don't think they've played as a pair. At no stage have we had... Last year I'm talking about. Year before that, yes, there was pairs. There was Kulcha, there was, and we went to a World Cup with Chahar and Varun Chakravarti, and,
Before that, we had Champions Trophy with Ashwin and Jadeja.
Yeah. Where is Bishnoi?
So
there was so much frustration in his voice. It was like, where is Bishnoi? It's like his child is not returned home. So it's dark.
So at the end, you need to pick wickets. If you put a graphic up now and, whoever loves numbers, you go and find middle overs in the last 2 games, we've done exceptionally well. But instead of a spinner, you've got a Umran Malik.
You've got a 155.
So you can look at numbers how you want to look at it. I think you're better off having somebody like him. Because most players in the world now, when you play... See, you have to work on the opposition as well. Yeah. The opposition teams have players who are blooded in saying, oh, this fellow hits in the middle. You bring in Umran Malik, you need a different kind of batsman to hit. Yeah. So it's an ongoing process. I just feel that we've been behind the 4 ball.
8 ball.
8 ball.
Yeah.
Double 8 ball. I'm halfway there.
Inflation.
So you have to be ahead and you have to keep surprising, I feel. Yeah. And I think that's what's missing. And these 3 are quality spinners.
Of course.
Nothing to take away from them. And Ravichandran Ashwin is one of the finest. You'd left him out for 2 years. Then you brought him back. 8 games later, you can't just forget about him. Yeah, I can understand if the selection committee had changed, coach had changed, captain had changed, you left him out, I can understand. But a man of that pedigree cannot be brought on whims and fancy and be left on whims and fancy.
Yeah, seems like that right now.
I mean,
You're absolutely right. Yeah, because you're right, because before the Asia Cup, Chahal was the leading wicket taker, right? Then you play that and you go into the World Cup, he doesn't play a game. Right?
Exactly.
And then you've got Ashwin back after 4 years in white ball wilderness.
Yeah.
You bring him back. You play him every game in the World Cup, and then he's in no squad. New Zealand. Now, I don't think he'll be there now
But that's what I'm
against
saying.
New Zealand as well.
I can understand that if the management, or whether the captain, whether the coach, whether somebody had changed, the people who brought him back are still there. But this fellow's gone.
Sir, there is a famous dialogue of Mr. Bachchan from an old film where he said, "Arey, confusion is utter." Namak halal, I think it was. No. Confusion is utter. But there has been a little confusion in the top order as well. Not in the batting order, but just some confusion in terms of, they kind of felt like a house of cards. It was Akshar and Surya who put it together and got India to 200 in the last game.
Yeah.
But the top order will look at themselves today before it starts. They'll look at that Rajkot pitch, which I suppose will play the same way, which is kind of big scoring. They'll look at themselves and they'll go, all right, this is a good chance for us. This is a golden chance for us. We got to do better.
Absolutely. Though they are saying that this pitch is probably not as good as the standard Rajkot railroad pitches.
Okay, so it'll only be about 200.
So, but it is after all a Rajkot pitch, not the biggest of grounds. A big ground, but not the biggest of grounds. I think it's a huge opportunity for our openers. And again, one of the reasons they batted first is they're saying there's no due at all.
Yeah.
So that means bowling second with 3 spinners is a option, which in a lot of cases. Also, again, as I said, if you feel that bowling is your weaker option or the option which is not so strong right now, you want to lead with in a deciding match, you want to lead with your stronger option. So you put 200 on the board, game is closed. Okay, let's see what happens.
That's another big thing, right? Because most teams with Dew coming into play don't want to bowl second, but there was never going to be any Dew in Rajkot because it's a dry state.
Yeah. And I'm totally against it. But you will have Dew. You might have Dew today. Yeah. Suddenly, I mean, this is, local knowledge.
Yeah, come on. That's why we got you here, bro.
I was talking to a brother of mine yesterday, and he says suddenly 2 days ago, where the temperatures suddenly started going down.
Wow.
And mostly when the dew comes in, I mean, there are many factors. One of the factors is when there is a difference between the day temperature and the night
high difference,
So there could be dew, and even there was dew in Pune as well, where they decided to bat first or second, was it? Yeah, second.
Yeah.
So I think
bowling first, yeah.
So they've gone back to it. So, but there should be dew there. So tonight.
But that's interesting because...
I mean, but you can't actually play on dew and rain.
No, fair enough. But I mean, it is a factor. And Joy, having been with a T20 team and I've been with Kolkata, the thing is that with a T20 game, you will almost always, on match day -1, you will practice in the evening, right? You practice in the evening, you practice under the lights, you have a look at what the conditions are. And does that play on your mind? You say, oh, I'm seeing a little bit of dew. We'll definitely have it tomorrow, or it's looking absolutely dry. It doesn't matter what we do.
No, in fact, for a long time in Kolkata, you had a situation where the bowling unit captain you would have a pail full of water, and bowlers will take the ball out of that and practice bowling, because there's no point if you can't grip. So the rule was that you've got to assume you're going to bowl second, so that you're mentally prepared for it. Otherwise, if you bowl first, then it's a plus, and then things can happen. But you mentally prepared. Look, we're going to bowl second every time. So because especially in the first 15-20 days of the IPL, dew is a huge factor.
Yeah. Hardik also said at the toss that we may have swing later at night. So that's quite interesting. And if there's any swing, that Arshdeep is going to take that Nimbu and he's going to nichodo it completely. But that's interesting phenomena if they get swing at night. But Ajay, I'll just get your thoughts again on India batting first right now. And in terms of openers, and I know you don't like the talk of World Cup so much before, but घाव गहरे हैं, right? Hashtag घाव गहरे हैं of 21 World Cup and 22 World Cup. And honestly, in another 16-18 months, there'll be another World Cup.
Yeah.
It's coming, right?
Yeah.
They are coming fast and furious.
So World Cup ab har saal hota hai.
Correct.
And I think the meaning of the World Cup is changing for players. and for people who are watching, because in olden days you had to wait 4 years at least,
Yeah.
if not longer, for World Cup. So you had a time to get over, jo ghaav the.
Yeah.
You have a ghaav, you get over it in 6 months, you get rid of people, you change the system, then you put in a new system, you have a year to figure that out. And then by the time the World Cup came, you were ready with your system. But now you have, घाव अभी भरा नहीं है, फिर दोबारा मतलब, तो अब तो वो बैंडेड लगती है ना, कि पट्टी लगाओ देखी जाएगी, अगली बार वर्ल्ड कप हो गया, फिर घाव वहीं का वहीं है, 5 साल से वहीं है.
Here's the thing, because what's happening earlier was 4 years. Now BCCI has an IPL every April and May, and ICC has their own IPL every October. The format keeps changing, sometimes 50 overs, 20 overs, Champions, World Cup, they change the name, but there is a multi-nation tournament basically. Yeah, but just talking about openers, there's so many openers right now. In the T20 format, going forward, if you had to pick the 2 that you like the most, that for you kind of fit this format, or that you like the look of for this, out of the current setup, the ones who are playing, Rituraj Gaikwad is in the squad, the ones who are...
I think, because we were talking about the style of play, not today, the other day as well. If you want to play that style, I mean, when that's what it seems like, it's a popular choice, it's what the players like to do it, then you got to have, don't look at guys only who open for India. You got to look at something beyond that, because you're wanting something extra. I would not even worry about, Ishan Kishan is certainly one of those who's done well and, won't go beyond him looking for anyone new. But amongst the old that you have, I think Hardik Pandya for me is a guy that, and I've said to him, and personally, when I've been after his life, I think he's a man who needs to move up the order. Because he is a natural player, striker, whether he comes in at 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, you've seen. He gets out also. It's not that he doesn't get out when he bats at 5 and 6.
Yeah.
But when he bats up the order, with that circle, I think he's your man to look at. Him, Rishabh Pant, these are your guys that you need to look at.
Yeah.
I would look at these 2 to be
I like the
guys, and
like
and they're batting top of the order. So you got to take out, and Joyda was absolutely right. You cannot have your one-day format, which is successful, and bring it here. Why? Because there is 3 phases of that game, or 50 overs, 300 balls. Now in those 300 balls, your best players are who? Hardik Pandya, Rishabh Pant, guys who come and do it in the last 80, 90 balls. So now you look at this 120 ball game. Leave the first 6 overs out. And how many teams in the world today have out and out bowlers who are trying to get you out? No, everybody's trying to be defensive. So if you bring your back end of your one-day cricket and put it right in the front, on their good days, you won't need anybody else.
Love it.
That's the way you got to change
I love it.
You cannot ask a player like that's what I said about Shubman Gill, fabulous player, very good. Rituraj Gaikwad is a great, all these guys can make it, not saying that. But if you want the Indian team to get the maximum at that opening spot, then you got to put these guys.
Think left field, think out of the box. It's like the one-day train goes like this, and then when the train comes back, the engine is on the other side. It pulls back like this. So take the guys on the back here, put them in the front over here. So I like your 2. So you're saying, I like it. Hardik Pandya, Rishabh Pant, those are your 2. Who are your 2?
So one is definitely Prithvi Shaw.
Ah,
I'll tell you why. And there's
mine as well.
Because I have a very basic reason for it. Go and ask an opposition captain how much they discuss Prithvi Shaw, because he's the one guy who can change a game in the first 6 hours.
Yeah.
Fair
no matter
enough.
what.
I mean,
So,
seen it
but
enough
I
times.
was looking at guys who are already
fair
in the
enough.
side.
That's
yeah,
good.
absolutely.
This poor fellow is not counted in.
Prithvi Shaw definitely for the he's an impact player. You don't get that many impact players. Okay, so Prithvi Shaw definitely, Ishan Kishan definitely. I feel for all the chances that he's given, Shubman Gill is not your prototypical T20 player. This is my belief.
Okay.
And we've said our choices. Joyda's picked. We have our selector. But the problem that you have is the only 2 certainties you have in Indian cricket are Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul, who are openers.
Yeah, but we're thinking long term, right? So who I'd like to see? Prithvi Shaw and Surya Kumar Yadav. Those are the 2 that.
I mean, I'm saying either way, whichever whoever, if you
हमारी
believe.
तो वैसे भी फैंटेसी गेम चल रही है ना, हम थोड़ी ना सिलेक्ट कर रहे हैं.
Sir,
आज लिस्ट आ गई है. We are not in the selection committee. We are not. We've seen the list.
They didn't pick you.
No.
अरे यार.
This really have been
हर
rejected.
बार मिस होता है.
हर बार.
चलो कोई बात नहीं.
तभी तो गौरव नहीं आ रहा.
नहीं आ रहा. चलिए अभी is a chance for you to get some Gaurav and some joy and some Ajay with the joy factor question.
Coming up now.
आइए. I'm so happy that you read it. I can check my Twitter now.
Okay, Ajay Sharma is 3rd in this list of Indian cricketers with Vijay Merchant in 2nd spot. who tops this list among Indians and is second only to Don Bradman internationally. That means there's a list of cricketers where Don Bradman's name is number 1. And there's an Indian cricketer whose name is number 2. And he's a top among Indian cricketers. Who is this guy?
Not me.
Pratap.
मैंने Don Bradman के साथ नाम है उसका next name.
Yeah, but not for this question. I'm just, numbers. People who are obsessed with numbers. Steven Smith is not a better player than Don Bradman just because he's got more hundreds. It is a proof that just because somebody has better numbers is not a better player.
Actually, but if you look
He's
at
got
it,
a 30 hundreds.
But look at it that way. He's got it. Don Bradman got 2952 test matches.
Yeah.
52 test matches, average of 99.894. I mean, where do you go?
I'm saying Don Bradman, when he played, he was the best in the world, undoubtedly, not because of numbers.
Yeah.
No, he was the best.
This fellow has got better numbers, but he's still not the best in the world.
But just one number is better, no? Just the number of centuries,
Ah.
which is a function of playing so many
chronologically, yeah,
matches,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
But the average,
But a fact hai.
nobody's touching that average.
Yeah.
Oh, no
That
way.
average shows you the dominance, right?
Strike
Almost 100. Strike.
He
counting.
actually has the best strike rate.
Did he?
Yeah, but they can't count it because a lot of these matches they don't have the exact figures.
They would not have
but
data.
He was a
but you go by
phenomenally fast
stories.
scorer. Very fast scorer.
He was one of the fastest scorers. Every great player of their time was always the fastest scorer of their time.
There you go, Vivian Richards as well. Keep watching old highlights. And you see
So
Vivian
Bradman has a century. Australia used to have 8 ball overs in 3 overs.
In 3 overs,
There's a century in 3 overs. Yeah.
24 balls.
But he also would have had to take a 3.
It was not a test century, but he got a first class century in 3 overs.
In 3 overs of a game.
Yeah, 3 overs. Yeah.
He faced all 24 balls then.
No, there were no balls and other things and all that, but 3 overs he got a century.
Wow.
With no free hits.
No free hits. Wow. All right, we get a free hit. All 3 of us get a free hit right now. But by the way, there's no free hits for you. You got to get your answer right. Get it in fast on Twitter. #JoyFactor, #CricBuzzLive. So please send it in to us. Right now, for our free hit, we are going to do a little score guess. India batting first after winning the toss in Rajkot. Your score guess for the innings, please.
You need 189 to win.
189. Yours?
That's Viv Richards' score at Old Trafford, that big
That's
run
right.
knock at Old
That's
Trafford.
right. With Michael holding at 12?
Yes, so should I go for 12? No, I'll go for 175. Couple them.
175.
Paji's birthday yesterday.
189.
Yeah.
So should I go for, if you've gone for Paji, you've gone for Wave, I can go for Rohit Sharma, Sachin Tendulkar.
Oh, yeah, you can. Yeah,
Go 200?
264, yeah. You
Well,
can
not
go.
260.
You can go for Ishan Kishan.
290.
200. I'll go for 200.
Ishan Kishan got 200
200.
what? The other day?
Yeah.
214 now.
I'll go for 200.
200?
Round. So 200, 189, 175. Those are our score guesses for India. We're going to go now, but we're going to see you at the end of the 10th over with Cricbuzz Combox. A big thank you to Ajay Jadeja and Joy Bhattacharya. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Always a pleasure.
Let's go and replenish our drinks, right? Should go replenish our drinks. It's Saturday night, open bar. I'm going to have a lemon ginger honey tea. What about you? I'm Gaurav Kapur. We'll see you in a while. Bye, Joey.